Um, so last meeting we did talk about Hyperion did have an incident last December. We had I think they read the news article where we had a portion of pipeline that slid down a hillside. It did come in contact with a house. So when I kind of give you a little bit of what happened, so I'll give you kind of the background. I'll go through, you know, our understanding of what happened, and then what we're doing currently and what we're doing going forward as corrective actions, both internally and externally. So, so back in December of 2022, we were in the process of installing our quarter Zeus pipeline. It was a 12-inch pipeline. During this time, going into kind of that Christmas kind of week, contractors responsible for securing everything that's on the right of way. That's E&S controls, that's equipment, that's materials, that's any above ground sections of pipeline. So that's the one that we're gonna be talking about. The pipeline in this incident was secured via an anchor system. It's a common practice. What it is, it's a full encirclement clamp. You bury a section of pipe that becomes your anchor in the ground. You have a high tensile line that's tied from that buried section of pipe to the above ground section of pipe. You have a full encirclement clamp that goes around that pipe. That's your securement point to make sure that that pipe stays in place. That's a common practice in the industry. And then it's set up on cribbing, which is essentially crisscross pieces of lumber. That's a support system to kind of keep it off the ground when the crews are working on it.
This is just for storage before it's installed.
Correct. Yeah, so during the process of...
I question whether this was an installed piece that got loose. I know members of the audience were concerned about that last time.
Sure, so the process that we go through is we bring the pipe onto the right of way. We do all of the welding, we do all of the coating, and we do all the inspection of the pipe from a coating standpoint, while it's above ground. We ditch, and then we lower that pipe in the ground, and then we weld, and we continue doing that in sections. It is one of the practices in which you can install pipeline. That's what was going on on this section of pipeline here. During the end of December, what we had was a very extreme temperature event, and I'm sure everyone remembers it. In the course of 7 hours, we dropped 70 degrees. We went from 40 degrees Fahrenheit in rainy conditions to -2 degrees with a -30 wind chill and 30-mile-an-hour winds. So during that time, what we believe and understand at this point, we're still going through the studies, is that there was a instant freezing on the water that was raining, so it caused a little bit of friction factor, and then there was a rapid shrinkage on the pipe itself. Those two instances, that short amount of time, that drastic drop in temperature is what allowed the pipe to slide through that clamp, and that's what kind of released everything. That's kind of how the incident happened. What did we do is really the important part going forward, and that's really the important part of what we're doing as a company. So what we did initially is we immediately stopped all pipeline work. That pipeline was put on absolute hold. We didn't touch it until we started and went through the investigation of what happened. All our pipeline work that we had as a company stopped until we understood what happened in that instance and how do we correct that going forward. We worked with the contractor to bring in a third-party engineering firm to review the incident. They took samples of pipeline, they've taken the clamp itself, they've taken all the measurements and topography, and they're trying to go through the recreation of the event and put that analysis behind it. They're currently working on that investigation right now. So the data that we have is kind of to our best knowledge that we have, that we're kind of, you know, offering out as what happened. We've already implemented and mandated a new form of anchor system. We're not using that full encirclement clamp design anymore. We're using an active clamp, where we're gonna cut a hole in the pipe, we're gonna put an active clamp that actually affixes to the pipe itself so that you can't have any kind of slip factor. We've done that, we've implemented that across our procedures and all of our contractors' procedures that work on our projects. We're working with the engineering company as part of this analysis on a new design for an anchor system that has engineering design backing and calculations and everything. And then our goal is not only correct the issue internally, is that we've been pushing this out to all the contractors in the area, all the local producers in the area, is talking about the incident. The best thing we can do now is we can learn from what happened, we can understand what happened, and we can educate all of our peers to make sure that doesn't happen again. And that's really the big point that, I wanna try and make sure that we emphasize. And then just overall, as a company, Olympus, Hyperion, safety always is and always will be our top priority, which is why we're treating this incident as serious as we are. We're understanding how it happened, what happened, and how we make sure that it does not happen again. So that's the information that we have. Any questions I can answer?
That was in a residential area too, I mean, you hit a house.
Mhm.
But I don't see any of those scenarios, although we have a lot of hillside installation going on there. I don't see a lot of residential areas that would be affected if it did happen, you know, the way you're talking, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, so we will be sure that it does not happen again.
So, we should address that.
Okay, thank you.